Have you ever wondered why some people smile even when they're broken inside? Or why one smile from a stranger can stop someone from ending their life? It sounds silly, doesn't it? Just a smile, that's it. But let me tell you a story that begins with nothing more than a silent man sitting alone and a smile that changed everything. So, before you scroll away, answer me this. Have you ever saved a life without knowing? Or maybe someone once saved yours with just a look? What if I told you you already have and you just forgot? Lucas sat on the same bench every morning, rain or shine, cold or warm. He sat, motionless, silent. He wasn't homeless. He wasn't begging. He just sat, like a ghost, waiting for nothing. People passed him. They never looked. Or if they did, it was with pity or annoyance. But no one ever stopped. No one ever smiled. Lucas had once been someone. A teacher, a father, a husband. But that was before the accident, before the fire, before the screams that still echoed every time he closed his eyes. His wife, gone. His daughter, gone. Everything he loved, gone. The world moved on. Lucas did not. Every morning, he sat. Every night, he disappeared, to where no one knew. One morning, as the frost clung to the edges of the bench, Lucas opened his coat just a little wider. He wasn't cold anymore. He wasn't anything anymore. That was the day. He had decided it would be the last. But fate is strange. That same morning, a girl walked by. Not a woman, not a child. Somewhere in between. She wore a bright yellow scarf. Her backpack jingled with trinkets. And unlike everyone else, she looked at Lucas. She didn't just glance, she looked. And then, she smiled. Not a forced smile. Not a be polite smile. A real one. Warm. Software like sunlight on skin. Lucas blinked. His hands trembled. No one had smiled at him in years. And then, she did something he didn't expect. She sat right next to him. Didn't say a word, didn't ask anything. Just sat. In silence. A moment passed, then another. And then, she pulled out a peanut butter sandwich, wrapped in foil, cut into triangles. She offered one half to Lucas. He stared at it, stared at her. Her smile didn't fade. She whispered, "You look hungry." Lucas took it. His hands shook. He hadn't eaten that day. He hadn't wanted to, but he took a bite. And for the first time in years, he tasted something. Not the sandwich, but presence, connection, life. They sat in silence for 10 minutes. Then she stood up. Before leaving, she said, "My name's Maya. I come this way every Tuesday." And then she walked away. Lucas watched her go. For the first time in years, he didn't want to disappear that night. The next Tuesday, he came back. She did too. This time, 2 sandwiches, and a story, and a laugh. Every week, they met. Lucas began to speak again, then to smile, then to live. Months passed. He cut his hair, got new shoes, he volunteered at a shelter, started painting again. People began to greet him, to notice him. He even began to help others, who sat like he once did, quiet, empty, fading. And it all began with one smile. One. Years later, Lucas stood in front of a group of teenagers at a community center. He told his story, the bench, the silence, the sandwich. He pointed to the girl beside him, now older in college, Maya. She smiled. Lucas smiled back. And he said, "She saved my life, without ever knowing it." Then he looked at the crowd. And maybe, just maybe, your smile will save someone too. But here's the question. Would you have smiled at Lucas that morning? Or would you, like most, just walk by? Let's go back to a cold morning on a forgotten street corner where a soul was seconds away from giving up. Why do we underestimate the small things? A smile, a glance, a kind word. Why do we chase grand gestures while ignoring the miracles that pass between strangers? In Buddhist teachings, there's a saying, drop by drop, the water jar is filled. Every drop of kindness, no matter how small, shapes the world, not with noise, not with glory, but in silence and stillness. Just like Maya's smile. We often think to help someone, we need money or power or status. But the Buddha taught, true giving begins in the heart. This is dana, the virtue of generosity. Not just giving things, but giving presence, compassion, a smile. You don't need to fix someone's life. You only need to remind them that they're seen, that they matter, that they still exist to someone. Now think of Lucas. He had lost everything. But what truly crushed him was not grief. It was invisibility. To walk among people and feel unseen, unheard, unfelt. That is spiritual death. And yet, a single smile from someone with no power, no title, no money brought him back. The law of karma is not just punishment, it is connection. Every action is a seed. Every smile, a ripple. You smile at someone today, they may not show it. But 10 years from now, that ripple may return to you, or to your child, or to someone you love. Because in this web of life, nothing is lost. Every intention, every act of goodness returns, even if not in the way you expect. Now, here comes a question. Is walking past someone in pain without looking a form of cruelty? Or is it just survival? What if you're busy, tired, worried? Does that excuse indifference? Be honest, have you ever ignored someone just because their sadness made you uncomfortable? And here's the deeper question. When was the last time you were that person, sitting alone, hoping someone, anyone, would notice? But no one did. Not your friends, not your family, not even the stranger next to you. Now imagine what a smile would have meant to you then. Buddhism teaches there is no one too poor to give and no one too rich to receive. Even the poorest beggar can offer warmth. Even the loneliest child can offer light. Maya gave what she had, not money, not words, but a smile and a sandwich. She gave presents, and that was enough to change destiny. So, what are you holding back? Is there someone in your life right now who needs that smile? Not a text, not a like, but your eyes, your time, your quiet attention. You might not feel like saving anyone, but here's the truth. You already are. Every act of warmth, every gesture of gentleness is karma in motion. It will return to you, or your children, or your next life. Now pause. Close your eyes. Think of someone who once saved you, with kindness, with presence, with just being there. Now imagine being that person for someone else. This is not fiction. This is Dharma. This is life. Still think smile is small? Now, tell me honestly in the comments, has a stranger ever saved you with something simple? Or have you ever saved someone without knowing? Don't lie. Say it. Let the world know. Because your story might be the smile someone else needs. So now, what will you do? Will you just scroll away and forget this story? Forget Lucas. Forget Maya. Forget The bench? Or will you carry this with you? Maybe tomorrow, someone will cross your path, a stranger, a soul, barely holding on, and they won't say it, they won't show it, but they'll be waiting for something, anything, even a smile. What if they're one breath away from giving up? And what if your smile is the breath that pulls them back? Would you give it? Or would you walk past? This is not a video. It's a mirror. Look at yourself. Are you proud of the way you show up in this world? Do you choose kindness when no one's watching? Do you share warmth even when your own heart feels cold? Today, I'm not asking you to donate or follow or even like this post. I'm asking you to look at the world differently, to treat every person you meet as if their soul is quietly breaking, and your smile might be the glue, because sometimes it is. If you've ever been saved by kindness, leave a comment. If you've ever saved someone without meaning to, share your story. And if you've ever walked past someone who looked lost and you chose silence, tell the truth. Say it. No judgment. We're all learning, all growing, all remembering what it means to be human. Now breathe in and say softly, I will not walk past. Say it again. I will not walk past. One more time. I will not walk past. You never know whose life you might touch, whose pain you might ease, whose soul you might save. All it takes is one small thing. A breath, a pause, a moment, a smile. So go out there and give it. Not because you have to, but because this world needs you. And if no one has told you today, you matter. You are seen. You are enough. Thank you for being here. Now go and be the reason someone stays.